What's up, Lonnie Squad? Today I'm going to talk about story times from when I used to skip school. I was going to make this a random story times from school, but I think I already used up like all my good school story times in my last video that I did like 3 years ago. I'll put that in the description. It's looking kind of bad, but it has like some pretty good stories, I think. And the only stories that I could really think of were, again, story times for me skipping. I did a video like this a few months ago, so yeah, I don't know. I used to skip class a lot when I was in school. I think the first time I ever skipped class was in like 5th grade. I was in my math class and I fucking hated it. I hated the teacher, and like 5 minutes into the class they did this announcement. They had some kids that needed to do testing or some shit, and so then I just walked out with the kids that needed to do testing, and I didn't go to the testing because obviously I didn't need to do it. And then I just like sat around. I just like sat. The way that my school layout was at that school, it was like those little pods. They had like little courtyards. Like every hallway had like a little courtyard, and they had a table at each courtyard. And so I just like sat. I found a courtyard and I just like sat on the table, and then one of my friends, I think she was going to the restroom, or she was like she was like using up her restroom time or some shit, and she saw me and she's like, "What are you doing here? Did you get kicked out?" And I was like, "No, I just didn't want to be in there." And she's like, "No, like you have to go to class, come on, I'll see you back in." And then she slung me back in, and I think my teacher noticed. I don't know if my teacher noticed me walking back in, but he probably noticed that it was gone, and then I was just like back, you know. And I still got marked absent for the class, I'm pretty sure. So I think, does that count as skipping if I left class and then I just went back in? That's the closest thing I had to skipping. That was like the first time that I ever kind of skipped, you know. It's kind of boring, it's kind of lame. I just like sat there doing nothing. I don't even know if I had a phone at the time. I was literally in 5th grade. But yeah, then what, I don't know. Then 7th grade, flash forward to 7th grade, I used to skip class literally every single day. I used to skip choir and my computer class. I hated those classes, I really did. I remember the one time that I went to my choir class. I went to my choir class like once a month, you know. And one time I went to my choir class, and my teacher, she's like giving out this speech, because I don't know, I think my class was like not very well behaved, or like it was obvious that my class didn't care about choir, because I think half of us used to like skip, and the other half we would just be like on our phone or whatever the fuck. And so I think, I don't know, she kind of got fed up with us, and she was like, choir is the easiest class to pass. Like, you don't even really need to be a good singer. Like, you just gotta show up and try. That's all you gotta do. And I remember she looked at me when she said you gotta show up and try, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, because I never showed up, and when I did show up, I never tried. I like singing, I just don't like choir. I don't know, but yeah. I used to skip class a lot in my math teacher's class in 7th grade. Like, she would let me stay in her class, so that's where I used to skip choir. Or in my ROTC class, and we called it LOTC at that school, not ROTC, I don't know why. But yeah, my ROTC class, my teacher, he would let me just be in his class, because I had his class 9th period on A days, and then 9th period B days I had a computer class. I was literally across the hallway from his class, and so I would just like walk into his class because I fucking hated that computer class. Yeah, and for some reason all my friends had ROTC 9th period B days anyway, so I was just like, whatever, you know. I was just hanging out with my friends, because we didn't do much in that class anyway. One time, it was like the beginning of the school year, so I was going to my computer class that I just talked about, but there was a sub that day, and I walk in and he's at the door with the clipboard with the roster on it, and he's like crossing people off. He's like, "What's your name?" And I tell him my name, and he's like, "Okay, you're on the roster, show me your ID." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, like I lost it at home, and I didn't get a new one this morning because no one fucking asked for it, you know." And keep in mind, this is 9th period, there's 45 minutes left of school, and he's like, "Well, go get a new ID." And I'm like, what? I'm not gonna do that shit. And then by that point I was already late for class, first of all. So my ROTC teacher wasn't gonna let me in because I was fucking late. And so I was like, what do I do? And so I just go down to the end of the hallway and I just go in the restroom and I just sit in there. I fucking hated skipping in the restroom. I skipped class, I think I said this earlier, I skipped class a lot, but I never skipped class in the restroom. Like, that was the worst. Like, if I was gonna skip class in the restroom, might as well just go to class. Like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, this time I didn't have anywhere else to go except for the restroom, because I was not gonna get a fucking fake, I was not gonna get a temporary ID for the last 45 minutes of school. Like, what the fuck. Also, if I went up there and tried to get a temporary ID and during 9th period, they were probably gonna be like, what the fuck. Not that I was gonna get yelled at, but they were gonna be like, what the fuck, like, no. Or some shit, I don't know. But yeah, and so I just went in the restroom, and then it was scary because I don't like skipping in the restroom. It's nasty and it's so easy to get caught. It's so fucking easy to get caught in the restroom. I don't understand how people do that, like, regularly. And then also what made me even more nervous was that there was like 5 other girls in there. There was like 3 girls, they were just like in their own little group, like skipping, because they always did that, I guess. And then there was two girls. One of them, she was skipping because her sister had just went into labor and she was trying to keep up with the labor. I mean, yeah, that was fun. She was like, oh my gosh, like, the baby's about to be born. She was like giving us updates. We're all the rest of them like, oh my god, the baby. I didn't even know her. But yeah, yeah, 7th grade I literally would just go to my math teacher's class or my ROTC teacher's class. And then 8th grade, I moved schools and it was so fucking hard to skip class. Like, it would piss me off because I really did not like my school in 8th grade. Hated it so much. 9th grade, I didn't skip too much in 9th grade. And then when I started, by the time that I like started skipping, they started getting more strict about skipping, and then COVID hit. So I was like, after that, then it was just really easy to skip class. Just like, don't get on your computer. But yeah, one time, I think the one time that I skipped in the restroom in 9th grade, because what I would do in 9th grade, again, was just find a teacher that would let me hang out in their room for the class period and like whatever. But I think the one time that I skipped in the restroom in 9th period, this just turned into me skipping in the restroom. What the fuck? My friend and I, we had, at the beginning of the school year that year, we had a 1-hour lunch, and then there was just like a fucking brawl during lunch. It was like 5 fights at once, and then they got rid of the hour lunch, and they did A, B, and C lunch. One of my friends was like, hey, do you want to skip? Because breaking down the lunch period into 3 different lunch periods just made it easier for everyone to skip. So yeah, it's kind of the downside of having 3 lunch periods, is that you have people trying to sneak into B lunch like it's the club. Fucking love that meme, because I used to do that all the time, especially in like 7th grade and throughout high school. Like, I used to do that fucking every day. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, we had a lunch and my friend's like, let's just like not go back to class. And I was like, okay. So we get our backpacks as we go to lunch, and then whatever, we go to lunch, and then I think there was like 5 minutes between each lunch period. So we go to the restroom nearest to the cafeteria, which is like not a good idea when you're trying to skip during lunch. Like, don't stay in the restroom that's nearest to the cafeteria, because then everyone's just gonna, all the teachers are just gonna look in there because it's the closest one to the cafeteria. Little tip for you guys. Sorry, I don't know, I shouldn't be encouraging this. This is a warning. This is me becoming the example that you shouldn't skip class, okay? Because look at me now, I'm a bum, and I took a gap year in college because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, and I'm a freaking bum. So well, I'm going to school like in 2 weeks anyway, but like, you know, get your shit together. Anyway, but yeah, we stayed in the restroom that was close to the cafeteria, and then we just like sat in there for like 5 minutes, and then B lunch, and then, you know, we're just hanging out in lunch, and then B lunch is over, we go hide in the restroom, then C lunch, and C lunch is over, and then we go to class. I don't know, junior year, I used to skip so much junior year. If you go back to my videos from like December 2021 to June of 2022, it's like literally all just me and my friends skipping. There's a few, I think there's like 1 or 2 videos where I'm not skipping. I think there's there's like 1 or 2 videos where I'm going out, but it's not because I'm skipping, it's just because I'm going out. And then there's like 1 video where it's me actually in class with my friends. But yeah, I literally vlogged myself skipping. Obviously I never vlogged myself skipping in the restroom, because I only remember like 2 times that I skipped in the restroom junior year. So one time my friend and we just like didn't want to go to class, and we couldn't find anywhere to stay. So she's like, it's okay, I have this fake hall pass. I have this hall pass that I stole from some fucking teacher, and let's just stay in the restroom and just like walk around with the hall pass. So we go in the restroom, and it's the 2 of us in the big stall, right? And then she hears her friends walk in, and she's like, oh my gosh, she like walks out the stall, she's like talking to them, da-da-da. And she's like, oh my god, come hang out with us. And so now there's 5 of us in the big stall, and when you have 5 people in the big stall, it turns into a small stall, and it was very claustrophobic. And so she's like, let's get the fuck out. And so we leave them in that restroom, and then yeah, and we just walked around, and we just like, I guess, hung out in different restrooms. It was like the nastiest thing I've ever done. But yeah, and then there was another time, pretty much the same, like my friend and I were gonna go to this one teacher's class to skip, and then when we got there, she's like, sorry guys, I have a meeting, but you guys can like wait for me until the meeting's over. And we're like, okay. And so then we just go to the restroom for like 30 minutes, and I think she came back, or we found another place to go to, because we got impatient because we're in the fucking restroom. Why would you not get impatient waiting in the dirty ass school restroom? Yeah. This video just turned into me talking about times I've skipped in the restroom, because it's like the worst. Skipping in the restroom is the worst, and I hated doing it, and it was always my last resort. And thank god that it was only my last resort a few times, just a few times. To think that I used to skip every single day for like 2 school years straight, and I only skipped in the restroom like 2 times each school year, like 2 or 3 times each school year. Like it's kind of like someone give me an award, low-key. Like what the fuck. But yeah, I was never the type of bitch to skip in the restroom. Like that was just so nasty to me. Yeah, like and subscribe. Bye.